Hi, my name is Andrew Frederick, and today I'm going to be explaining various fly fishing tools and all of their uses. So today, first up, we have a vise. So with a vise, it's used to primarily tie flies and hold hooks in places. So when you're using a hook and you're wanting to tie a fly, you'll place it right in here. But first, before you even do that, first you need to place it on a flat surface. So where you use it is on a flat surface, and when you use it is to tie flies. So let me move you over here. So when you're tying or getting this on a flat surface, you want to put it on just like that, and it has a tightening mechanism which you tighten right here, and it'll tighten it on the surface like so. So if I just tighten it on the surface, if I can get it for you right here, it'll just tighten into place like so. But you get the gist. It'll tighten into place, and when you're putting a hook in here, let me get a hook out real quick. Hooks don't want to come out, but when you're putting a hook in here, you put it right in there, and you'll flip this thing up on the back, and it just puts it in place like so. That's the vise. Next, you have scissors. So you use scissors when you're cutting thread or cutting anything when you're tying a fly. If you're cutting any line when you're trying to retie another fly, when you're fly fishing at all, so you can use scissors primarily just to cut anything. So I mean, I think anyone knows how to use scissors. Just snip a line. Like, it's not that hard, but I'd expect anyone to know how scissors. But these are standard, pretty much standard scissors for fly fishing. So next up, you have a bobbin. A bobbin looks like this. It'll look like that. Pretty weird, but it looks like so. That's a bobbin, and it's used to hold thread when you are threading a fly. You just put it on like so, and you put in thread, and depending on how tight your bobbin is, it'll release line easier or harder. And if you want it to release line easier, you just pull it out like so, and then you put it back in. And if I can get this to unwrap, it'll just pull out way easier. But if you tighten it, it will make this tension more hard to pull out like so. But when you're tying a fly, you want the thread to come out easier most of the time. Next, we have a bobbin threader. So a bobbin threader is going to look like this. Use a bobbin threader when you're trying to get thread through a bobbin hole like this right here. So you're gonna try to get it through the hole. So I'm gonna do that, and then you're gonna put the bobbin threader in the hole. You're trying to get that line to come out the hole, and then you put your thread through the threader like so. If I can get it through the threader. It goes through the thread, you pull it out, and then you have your thread out of your hoop. But yeah, that's how you get it through there, and that's how you use a bobbin threader. If I can get this to come out. Let's just cut this so I can get this off the bobbin threader. That's how you use a bobbin threader. Bobbin threader, again, used when you're tying flies. Obviously, it's all this stuff will primarily be used in the fly tying process. So yeah. Next, you'll have a hackle plier. Hackle pliers look like this. This is a cheaper version, but the cheaper versions will be usually harder to, pull out like that. It's used, so you'll put it on the end of a hackle feather, and it just hangs like that, and you'll have the hackle feather right in there, and you're just gonna be using it to go around and around the hook. So it'll be used like that, and obviously used in the fly tie process. And yeah, but that's the hackle plier. Next up, the most widely known tool anywhere in fishing, probably the first thing that comes to mind when anyone thinks about fishing, is a hook. These containers are very hard to open, but it's a hook. This is this right here though is a standard size 8 hook. It's a bigger hook. The sizes with hooks primarily are the smaller the size, the bigger the hook. So size 8 will be this size, and anything below a size 8 is primarily going to be bigger than this. You use this when you're tying a fly, or you put it in a vise when you're tying a fly. You use it out in fishing when you're going fly fishing, and if you don't have this, you're not going to catch a fish. And how you use it is you just tie it onto any line, or put it in a vise like so. Yeah, like so, like this. It'll go in like that on a vise when you're tying a fly. But yeah, that's how it's used. And obviously, again, used to catch fish and used to tie flies. And the last thing is simply thread. So you got your thread right here. Obviously, I've already threaded it through the bobbin, but obviously you're going to use this. And it's the first thing you put on the hook when you tie a fly. The first thing you use when you put on a hook when you're tying a fly. You'll use it when you're putting around the hook, and it's basically how it's used. It's the only way it's pretty much used is to thread it around a hook, and then you'll probably put your hackle on there, and then you'll thread it again, and that's primarily how thread's used. But yeah, that's thread. And hackle feathers. So hackle are feathers from a bird's neck. It could be from a tail. This is a brown saddle hackle, for example. Saddle hackle is primarily used from the tail feathers of a bird. And if you'll have like a cape, the cape runs back down the back of a bird, and that's where the cape hackle feathers are from the back of the bird. And then there's a type of hackle that comes from the neck feathers of a bird, but this is from the tail feathers of some bird I don't know the name of, but it's called brown saddle hackle. It's used when you're tying it around a fly. It's going to give the fly that feathery pop, if you do say. But yeah, that's when it's used is in the fly tying process and all that. So I mean, everything here is pretty much used in the fly tying process, if I'm being quite honest. But yeah, that's all the basic tools that you need to know right now. But I'll be going more in depth with hooks and all that. But yeah, that's the tools.